What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. This video is going to serve as the fourth installment of my Bitcoin exit plan update. Obviously, as you guys know, from October 6th to November 21st, massive downtrend in Bitcoin, massive liquidations, 50-80% drop in altcoins, all of these things happening. Obviously, guys, I have to respect it. I drew my line in the sand. If we lose $98,000, I go into exit plan mode. Since then, I've been dropping these exit plan update videos with a little bit of nuance and caveats and things like that. So we'll go ahead and continue to update in this video, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Let's get into the video. I will try to mention this in every single video this week, but I am recording on a completely new setup. I got an ultra wide monitor. It's pretty epic, but struggling a little bit to figure out the OBS situation, the resolution, what I'm supposed to be actually filming in and things like that. So just bear with me. Hopefully this shows up everything in frame. Hopefully this shows up or the important things in frame. Hopefully, it's not blurry, things like that. But anyways, Bitcoin exit plan update. What are we thinking? What are we looking at? All right, the main idea, just so you guys don't have to go back and look at past videos, is, and people are talking about it all online anyways at this point, but something like January of 2020, this kind of complacency range, as we did have a massive kickback on Bitcoin and just sitting in this kind of complacent range. Fractals even look somewhat similar from the last time I looked at it. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. Bring it over, just bear with me. Fractals thus far, even looking somewhat similar. This kind of being this in here, maybe we're somewhere in here right now. But my main focus is like any sort of range in here, any sort of not getting through, not reclaiming 98K, not getting through these fib levels, likely puts us in some sort of situation where we're going to be acting similar to this January of 2022 complacency fractal, like I've mentioned. So key levels that I've been talking about to look towards is $98,000. Pretty simple, basic TA here. Just rejecting the underside of this level. This was going to be a higher low if this held in here, and we'd be perfectly fine. It didn't, so now we are subject to retesting it and moving lower. There's a bunch of liquidity up here pointing to reaching $98,000. Do we sweep that and then just simply roll over from there and that's it? Fully a possibility. Monthly momentum has been lost. There's a couple days left in December. That hasn't really been flipped. I'll update you guys if that is the case in the last couple days. But yeah, monthly like MACD, even monthly momentum on my chart doesn't look great. It is a lower print, and typically that has been bad for the market. So I'm not getting euphoric. I'm not getting excited anywhere in here until we can clear these fibs. Because if sell signals on the weekly time frame or liquidity sweeps come in, or we just continue to range through the end of January or something like that, this complacency does take over and subjects us to moving lower, if I'm being honest. So what was my exact plan? What is my exact plan? All the liquidity is to the upside currently. I've been trying to scream it, Bitcoin bottom, this, that. I have things that I've been looking at. That some sort of bounce is coming, guys. Everybody and their mother screaming for 74K is not convincing enough to me personally. Like I said, there's a lot of reasons to look to upside, but it doesn't mean we're in the clear. When we get up here, I'm not taking any action, right? I'm not taking any action immediately at 98K, not taking any action immediately at these fib levels, simply observing. I'm going to be observing very closely how we react. Do we sweep liquidity and close the week back underneath, whatever have you? Are we getting weekly sell signals? This would not be possible, full transparency. To get some sort of weekly sell signal, we would have to first cross up and then back down. So this could take some time to play out. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks here and 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks here, is it the end of February and all we've done for 4 months is this? Well, when that happens, when we get into that area again, it's likely that that is the top of the market if that does happen. But we don't know what's going to happen. We can simply speculate and theorize. If we see this at this level, it's likely means this, or likely means bear market, or likely means bull market, or something like that. If we get a green regime to show up in here as this thing's crossing up and we get a buy signal, well, did we get a weekly buy signal last time this happened? Hell no. We were well within the bearish regime. Does it not cross up like this scenario back in January of 2022? Do we not fully get the cross and then roll over from here? Fully possible. We have plenty of things to look at, right? We have plenty of things sentiment wise. If that is going to be the top, and if I was going to trap a bunch of people underwater and stuff that was never coming back, what would I do? Well, Bitcoin dominance would spike to new lows. Altcoins would probably go crazy into that moment, and I would trap everybody who thinks it's going to continue on higher. I had a video on this last week about potentially a spike in Bitcoin dominance, and that would be my most bullish scenario right now. The market not getting euphoric onto altcoins into this moment would actually make me a lot more bullish for some sort of longer continuation, and then altcoins can have their party once we actually get through these fibs. But anyways, I will continue to mention, right, we're not in the clear, we're not safe until we can start reclaiming these levels, until we can get through key levels and things like that. But that doesn't mean I'm not positioning. That doesn't mean I'm not adding. I've added a ton of altcoins. I've added like 7 to 10% of my portfolio in fresh capital. What I had originally put into this market at the bear market, like 7 to 10% of that into altcoins that have absolutely been decimated. I've seen enough from the altcoin market where I'm okay taking the risk. And like I said, we're pointing to a bounce. So if I'm buying altcoins 80% off at the low and I'm looking at Bitcoin and we roll over here, then yeah, what am I going to sell for? 30, 40, 50% profit in my altcoins. And if we do continue, well, I just got a absolutely generational entry in the altcoin market. I'm not sure how anybody can argue with that logic. But so yeah, it's just basically to say, like, even though we still have bear market trials in front of us, we still have things we need to see, that we need to work on, that we need to get through. It doesn't mean you can't position. It doesn't mean you can't position for both scenarios. It doesn't mean you can think both scenarios are an equal possibility. If you guys are thinking about this market in one way or the other ever, really, kind of gonna be lost, right? The only time you can ever just be, this thing is only going up, is at the bottom. And the only time you can ever say, hey, this thing is only going down, is going to be at the top. We don't really know where we're at yet, or even if we're somewhere in here, something like that. We don't really have a clue where we're at, but we have things we can look for when we do get there. And obviously I will be updating you guys if that happens. But also, full transparency too, like I said, I've been buying a lot of things. I've bought enough things to where I have run out of money in my savings account. And I'm a big saver. I like to save. I think it's important. But when I see potential generational entries with very clear risk management, with everybody in my comments screaming blah 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 blah, this opinion about this opinion about that, it kind of makes it hard not to take a bite. How can you blame me? We're all the same. But anyways, hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Hopefully you guys found it useful. If you are curious about, like, if you want to see more in-depth reasoning for this plan right here, I would probably go back and look at my first exit plan. It has to be at least 4 or 5 weeks ago now. Probably even earlier than that, honestly, maybe even as late as mid-November, a month and a half ago. But make sure you go check out the first one. I dove into, like, hey, monthly MACD cross, comparing it to January of 2022 fractal. I tried to go in depth as I could in this one, but to re-explain it every single week is a bit of a hassle. I probably won't update on this next week unless something happens at 98K or something happens at the fib levels or something of that nature. There's news or something like that. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. This was a little bit insightful to the psychology, how you can play both sides, my exit plan, all these things. And hopefully you guys found it useful. Like I said, as always, I really, really, really do appreciate y'all's support, each and every one of y'all. Every single comment that I get, it keeps me going. It absolutely keeps me going. If you think it's easy making videos for 1,500 subscribers and 1,500 followers on Instagram and getting 300 views on Instagram videos and getting 50 views on YouTube videos that you spent 2 hours making, it is not. It's very hard. It's actually harder than crypto investing. But I see this as a challenge, and anytime I do get a comment from you guys about this, or hey, I love this guy's analysis, or I found this useful, or even just constructive things, you challenging my analysis or asking me questions about whatever, I really do always appreciate it, guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. kind of going on a tangent, but we will go ahead and wrap it up here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.